Hey everyone, Insanity here. It's been a long time since I did any commentary. I had no real topics to talk about. I got around to finally seeing Captain America Brave New World, and I'm glad I finally did so because it was exhausting seeing the discourse surrounding the movie before I watched it. The reports of lengthy reshoots and large budget, the terrible reviews and ratings, the weak to soft box office projections, the amount of people expressing their disdain for Sam Wilson taking on the Captain America identity, the current political climate muddying the overall conception of the film. It's just way too much. Not going to say that everything should be sunshine and rainbows regarding the film, because I certainly have my fair share of criticisms of the movie and believe that it's merely okay at best. But even so, it basically felt like so many external factors were working against the film. As this movie is the beginning of Sam Wilson's tenure as Captain America, I will instead use Captain Falcon in place of the full movie title. What did I think of this movie? Well, my rating is a 6 out of 10. It is not as bad as the reviews make it out to be, but it's absolutely inferior to the previous Captain America movies. I believe Sam Wilson absolutely deserved better than to have his first full fledged appearance as Captain America, spending time picking up and dealing with plot threads that are better suited to a standalone Hulk movie. For Steve's sake, Sam is dealing with two Hulk antagonists. Why isn't Bruce or the Hulk dealing with them? Sam should primarily be fighting with Captain America villains and have more personal stakes revolving around his taking on the Captain America identity. Even before going into this movie, it was clear to me that there will be big problems. The first one is that if you only stuck to watching the MCU movies and you don't add Disney Plus shows to the equation, the last time we see Sam Wilson was Old Man Steve passing over the shield to him. The natural progression of Sam's story would be dealing with all the pressures and complications that would arise as a result of taking on this identity. Unfortunately, Sam's next appearance is on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus show. That show starts with Sam willingly giving up the shield at the beginning, believing he is not worthy of it, despite the fact that among his last words to Old Man Steve was, "I'll do my best," upon taking the shield, essentially going against Steve's choice. The show then spends its runtime asking the question of, is Sam really the right choice to take up the mantle of Captain America? Essentially, my point being that the Disney Plus show stole away a natural plot progression for Sam Wilson being Captain America, causing the knock on effect of Sam having no character arc or thread to work with in Captain Falcon. He is Captain America, no other person questions him being Captain America, it's a done deal. The Disney Plus show at least had Sam dealing with racism and working up his skills to properly take on a mantle, all aspects that could have served as a logical follow up to him being Captain America from the start if he had his next big appearance in a movie rather than in a show that has him take on the mantle at the end of it. That is problem number one. Problem number two, the marketing decided to make Red Hulk the centerpiece and made it such a big deal as if Disney didn't have much confidence in selling a movie on Sam Wilson being Captain America. Never mind that I already brought up that this should have been something a new Hulk movie dealt with. The actual fight between Sam and Red Hulk only lasts for a few minutes at most, and the resolution to the fight is unsatisfactory. It's also not much of an actual fight than it is Sam Wilson mostly being on the defensive, because what else do you expect a regular human who's not decked out in tech the same way Iron Man is do against a gamma-powered monster? They hype up the fight so much in the marketing at the expense of, marketing Sam's first proper adventure as Captain America. Harrison Ford is great in Captain Falcon, there's no question about that, but this is not supposed to be his movie. There were complaints about Captain America Civil War being an Avengers 2.5 and taken away from Steve Rogers, but there is no doubt in my mind that the movie still made sure that Steve was the main character, despite the presence of interesting characters surrounding him. It's Harrison Ford that gets a character arc and gets to be an interesting character. Part of it is also due to the fact that Thunderbolt Ross never really got to have his character explored, since all of his post-Incredible Hulk appearances have been small and generally amounted to antagonizing the heroes due to his dislike of them. And part of it is also because it's Harrison Ford, and they'll squeeze whatever acting juice they can get out of him, since Marvel got their hands on Indiana Jones and Han Solo is not getting any younger. But Sam needed to be built into a proper anchor character that someone with the Captain America identity ought to be, the way Steve Rogers proved himself to be an anchor character with Winter Soldier, before having someone siphon away main character time from him. For audiences who include Disney Plus material in their catalog, Sam just only took on the mantle at the end of the show. And for audiences who don't and stick to the movies only, Sam Wilson has not proven himself as Captain America yet. These two problems prevent Captain Falcon from realizing its full potential. Well, there are a lot of things I've said so far that sound negative. There were things I did like. I already mentioned Harrison Ford previously, but I also love how they continue to capture the perfect tone for Captain America's corner of the MCU. A healthy amount of real-world seriousness with just enough levity, a balanced tone of neither light nor dark. Both Falcon and Winter Soldier and Captain Falcon were made by a different creative team to the previous Captain America movies, but feel very much in their mold and serve as sensible continuations. There's also some actual politics and more of Captain America butting heads with the government, which is never a bad thing when Captain America is all about fighting injustices and going against the government if needed in order to do the right thing. I also like how Sam's previous occupation of being counselor continues to be a recurring aspect of his character. He's able to talk sense and will try to de-escalate situations where possible, and it's that kind of mindset that makes him a good fit for taking on the Captain America identity. He gets to feel more like the people's person over Steve Rogers, who is undoubtedly a great person, no doubt about it, but he's also a legend and an ideal, so we're more likely to give Steve Rogers the benefit of the doubt since we know he'll never settle for anything less than doing the right thing. But Sam is just a regular person, and therefore he has to work harder without being the man, the myth, the legend that Steve Rogers is, while still remaining empathetic and committed to serving others. For smaller things, Sam's implementation of his wings in hand-to-hand combat really helps make him stand out from Steve and looks pretty cool. Plus, he does a lot more step on shield to kick it upwards into his arm. And he does one really sick move involving the use of his legs to kick the shield up and then into enemies. After Age of Ultron and Captain Falcon, we really ought to include more shield kicks into a Captain America's move repertoire. That's most of what I liked. For stuff I didn't like, which might fall more under nitpicking, one of them is that Sam doesn't have the Super Soldier Serum. And this is twofold. Despite not having a serum, a lot of Sam's actions during the fight scenes don't really suggest a regular human who is only keeping up due to tech. He gets 2 knife stabs, but despite the pain in his face, they don't really serve to inconvenience him in the slightest. He's also able to block a lot of the Red Hulk's heavy hits with his wings and shield, without feeling any pain that comes from having to anchor himself against those heavy blows. It's like Sam might as well be considered as having taken a serum, despite not being shown doing so. The second reason is that in the Disney Plus show, Sam already makes his stance clear. He says no to taking a serum. No reason is given by him, but it can be inferred that Sam has his own pride and principles and would rather do things the way he wants to than using a shortcut like a serum. In Captain Falcon, though, when he faces Red Hulk with a clear disadvantage of no real way to win against him, it's here that Sam says he should have taken a serum as a way of leveling the playing field. For here, it's weird for Sam to suddenly have second thoughts at this point about taking the Super Soldier Serum, considering that he's already fought alongside other superhumans and the existence of different types of life outside of Earth. Red Hulk is nothing out of the ordinary. Not to mention, the guy that the government picked to be Captain America was tempted by and ended up taking a serum because he felt that he needed to properly be Captain America, as well as level the playing field properly against people running around with the Super Soldier Serum in their system. You would think that Sam might have wanted to consider the serum at least to help defend people better, as opposed to rejecting it out of principle, before it took going into a fight against the Red Gamma monster to begin having second thoughts. One other thing I didn't like is that Captain Falcon lacks an identity. The movie is clearly inspired by Winter Soldier with the conspiracy angle, even having Captain America, Falcon, and Black Widow lineup. It also borrows some elements of Civil War with a non-powered supervillain who uses mind control to help frame a personal friend of Captain America and manipulates events behind the scenes to eventually accomplish most, if not all, of his goals. There are some scenes that remind me of ones in these previous movies as well, such as Sam's first big action scene showing his improved combat skills, which ends with him doing a gentleman's duel against a mercenary without his gear, a car ride on a way to investigate the enemy's hideout, and one of the last scenes involving someone on a hospital bed, though flipped, with Captain America tending to Falcon's side, as opposed to Falcon tending to Captain America's side. If not for Red Hulk and Harrison Ford, a lot of Captain Falcon would feel like a rehash of the 2 earlier Captain America movies. That's about the only flip side to having this movie mostly being about Ross, featuring Sam Wilson. I also mentioned the unsatisfactory resolution to the Red Hulk fight. Sam Wilson uses Talk No Jutsu to get the Red Hulk to revert back to Ross. But the thing was, he attempted it the first time and it didn't work. The second time it did, and this second attempt would have made more sense if it was done by a certain other character instead, who appears after the battle concluded as nothing more than a cameo. It's even worse if he actively kept in touch with the behind-the-scenes stuff of Captain Falcon, which seemed to suggest that this character would have had a little more importance or screen time than what the final product suggested. You already have a fight which is nothing more than Sam running away from the Red Hulk, partly to avoid causing too much collateral damage by leaving Red Hulk in an isolated area with no civilians around, and partly because there's only so much Sam could do against Red Hulk. The battle ending the way it did would have made more sense, or could have still made more sense with this other character. So now you just have an anticlimactic fight, one that was hyped up by marketing but didn't really deliver anything novel besides Han Solo turning into a giant rage monster. Like I said at the beginning, Captain Falcon is not a bad movie, but it does not live up to the standards of the previous Captain America movies, and Sam Wilson should not be taking on Hulk antagonists for his first full Captain America outing. I would not mind another Captain Falcon movie, one that has Sam dealing with more personal stakes and struggles, and fighting villains who are part of the Captain America Rogues Gallery. But given the current political climate, as well as Disney being a cold-hearted business first and foremost, I'm not really hopeful that Sam gets another chance. He'll likely have to settle with being in the next Avengers movies at most. So that's the gameplay and commentary, hope you enjoyed it, and Insanity is out.